Recording in 3, 2, 1. If it's Mondays, then you know it's a Mondays with Kamande type of day. And if it's a season finale, then you know we're going way back to the beginning. And now cue the logo. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is the season finale of Mondays with Kamande, and first of all, my name is Kamande Esther. If you're new here, I'm sorry, this is not the madness that goes on here every now and then. Usually I'm sobered up most of the times, I think. But if this is your first time to click onto this channel, my name is Kamande Esther. And if this is not your first time, karibu sana, welcome back home. I think this is home for you now. Like you've seen already on the title of this video, it is the final episode of season 2 of what I call Mondays with Kamande. Usually, for those who are new here, Mondays with Kamande is it's actually just something that really started off as on a lighter note. I love creating content, and I'm a content creator in different areas of my life, in my career, and majorly in my career, and I do that for other areas. But when it comes to my personal platforms, I create Christian content, content that is geared towards inspiring the hearts of people closer and back to God, and I do that on YouTube, and I also do that on my blog. The link will be down below, in the description box. And when I started creating content, I didn't know, or rather I was working towards being consistent and working towards just having a system in place for me and something that would work for me. And recently someone was asking me, why did you choose a Monday and why is it Monday? And I had a few answers to that. One being, Mondays rhyme with my name, Kamande. I know that's a corny reason, but hey, it's what I've got. It's what I'm gonna give you. It's what we're working with. So there's that. And then Monday was never a favorite day of mine. I used to hate Mondays. Monday is the ghetto. You wake up and you don't want to wake up. You have a lot to do, but then it's Monday. You just want to, just stay in bed or stay at home. And so Monday was never a good day for me. And I remember there was a person a mentor of mine once told me that if you want to overcome limitations or rather things that keep hindering you, you've got to face them head on. And so my way of overcoming my dislike for Monday was committing Monday to being the day where the day that I get to release content. And so since the content that I create is so close to my heart and it's content that I create with a lot of love, I figured if I could assign or attach the same value that I attach to my content to Monday, then maybe Monday doesn't sound bad. It's not a bad day. And now Monday is a good day for me. It's one of my best days. It's one of my favorite days after Saturday and Friday. But yes, so that's why this is called Mondays with Kamande. And the content that I create for Mondays with Kamande is content that I share on YouTube and on my blog, and mostly on YouTube. We upload videos every Monday at 11 a.m. Or between 11 and 11:30 a.m. And so it's been a journey where we've been doing that. And I'm saying we because there's a whole team behind Mondays with Kamande, which is a huge testimony actually that I will share in this video. But we've been doing that for almost a year. We're almost turning 1. And it really is a great It's a great testimony for me. YouTube is a testimony for me. Being here on your screen is a huge testimony for me, because it's a journey that I didn't think I was suited to take. I didn't think it's a journey that was meant for me. It wasn't a journey that had my name written on it. It's just one of those journeys that God ushers you into, and you just have to take the journey, and you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing. The only thing you know is who you are and who's with you, and that's God for me. And it's been a journey that, now looking back, I think I'd take it again. If I went back, I'd take it again. I'd take the journey. I'd say yes to taking this journey with God. And that's the essence of this video today. I just wanted to share a few moments, or a few things, or a few insights, or just share with you what this last episode means to me. And if you've been here long enough, then there are so many similarities between today's episode and the very first episode of Mondays with Kamande in season 1. So I hope you can pick the similarities from the set to the girl to, and maybe leave a comment. Let me know what stood out for you and what you pick, and what is similar in this episode and in the very first episode. And the reason I chose to do that, or why I was intentional about trying to recreate that first episode, was because when I was thinking through this episode and thinking through the final topic, or whatever it is that I'd talk about today, I wanted, most of the episodes have been based on different topics, but on this particular one, I just felt in my heart to somewhat give or take you guys back with me, just take you guys on the journey, down memory lane with me, and at the same time just bring you back, and also introduce and give you a snippet of what the next season is going to look like for us here. And the reason why I am doing this is because I want to encourage someone who, you're probably thinking about what you're doing right now, and you're thinking about your life, and you're wondering if it matters, if there's you're like, does it really matter? Is what I'm doing making sense? There's a story behind that phrase, making sense, and I'll share later. But you're probably thinking that whatever it is that you're doing doesn't really make sense. It doesn't matter. No one cares. You're failing at it. You're probably looking at the impact of what you're doing and the results, and they're not adding up, and you're almost giving up. And I'm really grateful, and I'm really glad that you clicked onto this video, because I just want to encourage you not to give up, and to just hold on to whatever it is that you're doing. And this is why, you see, sometimes when we step into what God has called us to do, and we start pursuing the dreams that God places in our hearts, or the dreams that He allows us to have, and when we start pursuing them, we get to those phases in life where we are tempted to give up on those dreams, and we're tempted to give up on those goals. It could be a business, it could be your career, it could be education, it could be something, a passion project like myself on YouTube, or your blog, or you're a writer, or whatever it is that you do. For the purpose of this video, we're going to call that an assignment. So you're probably looking at the assignment that you have, and you're almost giving up on it because you've faced challenges here and there. You have faced obstacles that clearly are telling you to just turn around and go back to when you hadn't begun pursuing the assignment. And it's okay to be in that space, but it's not okay to submit to those thoughts, those thoughts of giving up, those thoughts of quitting, please remember, when you have God, there's no giving up. Please don't give up. And it's okay to be in that space. And it's okay to feel like you want to just wrap up and leave, and just abandon the assignment and do something else that probably you think will make sense. But when you get to those phases, or when you get to that space, and I've gotten to those moments so many times, you have to sit back and do something I call a flashback faith recharge kind of thing. And I call them flashback faith moments, because you sit back and you take stock of where you are right now and how far you've come. And then you go through the journey when you first began pursuing the assignment, and you go through every obstacle that you've had to face and every obstacle that you've conquered, to the point now where you're taking stock, maybe to today, and you're looking back 5 years down the line, you're looking back 3 years down the line, a month down the line, a year ago, an hour ago, and you look back and you're like, oh wait, 2 months ago I faced this and this and I conquered. A month ago I went through this, or I faced this and I didn't have this, or I was going through this challenge and I conquered it, or I overcame it. And what flashing back, or what that does to you, is that it shows you how faithful God has been from that time, and you get to see how He has carried you faithfully through so many challenges that you have probably gone through. And you would face a challenge and you would think, well, this is it, this is the challenge of the year, this is the challenge of the decade, and I am done, it's out, I am out. And God would show up and just carry you through and over that challenge, and then you'd face another challenge and you'd think, well, if that didn't take me out, then this is going to take me out. And God is like, no, I am going to carry you through this again. And that has been me for the better part of the year that this has been. And I'm not talking about 2021, I'm talking about the year, the YouTube year for me. And I've had moments where I've had to sit back and go through and go back to the why I started this, the why behind what I do, and the why behind my assignment. And every time I've had to go back to thinking through the moments that I've gone through with God, I've been left in awe, and I've been left thinking, wow, God is really faithful, and He's really intentional with my assignment and with my life. And that has fueled and charged me up so much that now we are in the final episode of the second season. Would you look at that? See God. So I just wanted to encourage someone who you've probably gone through so much in your assignment, in pursuit of your assignment. It could be a motherhood assignment, a fatherhood assignment. You're probably wondering, how am I going to parent these little human beings, and I've not had anyone parent me, or I never experienced the present fatherhood or a present mom. Or you're probably looking at your business and wondering, how am I going to run this business? And you've clearly, no one in your family, or there's never been any success stories when it comes to running a business, and you have valid reasons as to why you should give up. But if you are looking for a sign not to give up, then this video is that sign for you. And I wanted to share with you the why I do this. And for me, when I was thinking through the moments that I really wanted to give up on YouTube, I had to go back to the very first episode of Mondays with Kamande. And looking back, comparing that time and this time, there has been tremendous growth. There has been, I kid you not, in the first episode, I wasn't as confident as I look in front of the camera right now. Comparing that time and this time, I wasn't as confident. I didn't believe in myself. And when you're watching that video, when you watch that video, or when I watch that video, at the back of my head, I can see and hear a lot of disbelief. I can hear a lot of doubt from myself. I can see a lot of what ifs. I can hear my thoughts when I look at that video. And looking back, I am now really amazed at how much God can do when you keep on surrendering and when you keep on submitting yourself to Him and telling Him that you are clearly not aware of what you're doing. You have no clue of what you're doing and you need Him, and when you rely completely on Him. And this episode is a testament of that. It's a testament of what God can do when you allow Him to walk with you as you chase and fulfill the assignment that He has given unto you. And whenever I feel like wrapping up and just focusing on other things in my life, and when I think about why I create the content that I create and why I create the way I do, I am always reminded of the why I do it. And the reason I'm doing it is because, number one, my goal for YouTube and my blog or my writing is to inspire people's hearts back to God. And I know it sounds so cliche and it sounds so, but I've been the person who was on the other side needing inspiration to go back to God. And I vowed and I committed my life to being a voice, or to being that person that is used of God to inspire people to, to inspire them back to Him, to desire to go back to Him. Because I know how it feels to go through brokenness, to grow broken as a broken person. I know how it feels to go through discouragement, and I know how it feels to really want to give up, and I know how it feels to, I have experience, first-hand experience. And I think I was the queen of giving up and bitterness. And I know how it feels to be bitter. I know how it feels to be so angry at people and so angry at life and so angry at life basically, and so angry at God. And I know how it feels to be I know how it feels to be in a state where you know who God is, but then you want nothing to do with Him. I know how it feels to be in a season where you're going through so much discouragement, one thing crashing, these all areas of your life crashing down and crumbling down, and you have nowhere to go. If there was ever levels in rock bottom, you're in the lowest level ever of the rock bottom world. And I know how it feels to be there. And that's why I do what I do, because no one deserves to be in that season. No one deserves to go through discouragement or despair in life. No one deserves to go through pain and to go through life alone, right? And no one deserves to have to deal with issues of life alone. I believe that if we could all share and hold each other down and just be, just being someone else's shoulder to lean on, or walking stick to hold on to, or just being the person that people can lean on, or having someone that you can lean on as well, I think the world would be a better place. And I'm not saying that you just now go all out asking people, what are you dealing with? I'm here to be a shoulder to lean on to you. No. there's wisdom needed in this. But ideally, my point is, we all need someone who will remind us that we are not in this alone, that in whatever it is that we go through in life, that you'll never face it alone, and you don't have to face it alone. You see, now that's the thing. I am the type of people who don't know how to ask for help. I don't know how to ask for help, and I don't think I'll ever know how to ask for help. And I think I need to learn how to ask for help. But there are people like me who don't know how to ask for help. There are people who feel the need to go through difficult seasons of life alone, and you just want to soldier on and just deal with it alone. Maybe because you don't want to feel like a burden to someone else. That's usually my first reason why I don't ask for help. And also maybe you don't know how to ask for help, or you're probably just not in a position where you have people around you that you can ask for help. But I think and I believe that knowing there is someone available and ready to offer that help to you is one of the most comforting things in life, because sometimes life can really knock you down, and I think we underestimate the challenges that we go through, and life can really knock you down. Life and seasons in life can really they can really knock you out, and not having someone and not having a support system is really one of the greatest challenges that we are facing in our generation. That's why we have a lot of cases, mental illness cases. That's why we have a lot of depression cases. We have people taking their lives, and I'm always of the idea that if you knew there was someone out there who could come through for you, or someone who will just walk with you as you're dealing with something, then taking away your life or killing yourself or suicide will not be the first option for you. Anyway, that aside, I do what I do because knowing how it feels to be on that other side, to being in that space where you feel alone and you're dealing with so much in life, and you've given up on yourself, you've given up on people, and you've given up on God. I had God send me someone and different people in different areas of my life to remind me that He was still intentional about me, that He was still concerned about me, that He still loved me, and that there was nothing I could ever do, whether it was something I did in the past, something I was currently doing, or something that I'll do in the future, that will ever separate me from Him. And every time He'd send me someone who would encourage me and just motivate me, or just someone to sit with me and listen to me, or just someone to, there are people in life who just come into your life and you're going through a dark season, and when they walk into your life or into that space that you're in, it feels like the sun just walked in, people who carry that brightness with them. And I had people like those that God sent my way, and they'd constantly walk in carrying the whole sunlight of the world, and they'd come in and it was bright, and I'd look at them and wonder, how exactly are you this happy? How is it possible for you to be this happy? Why are you not angry? Why are you not bitter and mad? Because that was the way of life I was used to. I was used to being angry and bitter with people or at people, and it wasn't their fault. It's just issues that I had that and things that I had gone through in life that left me very bitter, very broken, and very discouraged, and just I didn't give a care about the world or about God or anything. And I knew God, and I knew what being born again was, and I knew what being a Christian and living life as a Christian was, but I just didn't care. I was just, completely done with God. And every time they'd walk in carrying that, and they'd walk in, and when I say walk in, they'd come into my space, which is something I do not recommend. But they'd come in and the atmosphere would be light and full of sunshine, and they looked happy and they looked peaceful. I've had to struggle with anxiety. For me, I struggle a lot with anxiety, and I'd meet people who are so peaceful, people who are so calm, and I'd wonder, how are you this calm? How is it possible for you to be this calm? Because all I know in my life is being anxious, and that's when that's when God reveals to you that He's still intentional about you, and He's sending you those people so that they can remind you of a life, or of a way of life that is completely possible for you to have and is readily available for you to have. And I remember I can't really tell you why or when I intentionally started, or how the turnaround happened, or how my heart turned around, and I moved from being that bitter, angry girl to this happy, peaceful, silly girl that I am today. I can't really tell you it happened on this day of this month, on this year, but it's been a journey. And I thought the journey would be just me and dealing with me and facing issues alone, my issues alone. But that wasn't the case. And God came and helped me deal with those issues. And sometimes I really feel indebted to God, because there have been so many days and so many instances where I couldn't walk the journey. I didn't even want to walk the journey, because this is the thing about God. When you ask God to check your heart, when you ask Him to search your heart, there's that prayer that David prayed. He tells God to search his heart out, and if there be anything that is not pleasant to Him, that that God should remove it, and He should create in him a new heart, a clean spirit. When you ask God, when you ask the Holy Spirit to do that, please be ready to see the most ugliest of things that are in your heart. And that was the thing. When I asked God when I surrendered and asked God to just work on me, because now I realized I was really not living life how He wanted me to live life. And I couldn't go on carrying the anger and the bitterness any longer. And I needed Him to work on me and just help me out. And the day I asked Him to do that, it's like He was just waiting for me to say, you know what, God, now here's my heart. You can work on me, you can sort me out. And I think God was like, okay, she just said yes. So He was just giving commands to angels. I need this spanner, I need this, and I need this, and I need this, and I need this, and I need this. Let's just fix her heart up. And when I did that, when I asked Him to work on me, He revealed and started revealing to me things and issues that I was dealing with. At that time, I didn't know I was angry, and I didn't know I was bitter towards the world and bitter about everything. And He started revealing to me how the spirit of bitterness and offense was so embedded in my heart, and how much bitterness and drama I carried in my heart. And I was so angry, and I had so much vengeance in me, and I really just wanted to take it out. And He started revealing that to me. And for me, at that time, that was just who I was. I was like, this is who I am. And I'd act out in a way in response to that bitterness. And I'd think, but that's just who I am. And He started revealing to me that, no, that's not who you are. That's a lot of bitterness that you have penned up, that you've swept under the carpet. There's so many issues you've swept under the carpet that I need us to work through and walk through. And when God reveals such moments and such things to you, you end up seeing a lot of ugliness and a lot of chaos and a lot of drama in your heart and in yourself, and you can't believe it's you. You look back and you look at what God is showing you that is in your heart, and you're like, that's me? That's how I've been? That's how I've been living? And God's like, yeah, that's this is what we're working with. And there have been moments where I saw that ugliness and I didn't want to face it, and I didn't want to continue with the self-check, the Holy Spirit check, and I didn't want to do that because it was so painful to watch and so painful to realize that you've been carrying a lot of negativity and a lot of things that have been hurting you, and you've also been hurting other people, and you can actually pinpoint the times and certain people that you've really offended and people that you've really hurt, and you did that based on a reaction or a response that was that was geared up or charged up or encouraged by the bitterness you had in you. And that is not a good place to be in, and that's not something that you can comfortably walk through. And I looked back, and I keep looking back and seeing how God, most of the times, he had to carry me through in this journey that I've been with him. There are days I could literally walk the journey with him. There are days we'd run. There are days we just sit together, me and God, and just talk through whatever it is that he needed me to work on at that particular time. And the majority of times have been the times where I've really felt I can't do this anymore, and he's had to carry me through it. You know how you literally carry your child and you're like, okay, we're gonna cross this together, and I'm here with you and I'm here for you. And that's something I never experienced. I've never had anyone, or I never had that comfort of knowing that there's someone who can actually carry me through moments in my life that I cannot face on my own. And another moment for me, or one of those moments, has been YouTube, where I didn't think I was cut out for this. Sometimes I still don't think I'm cut out for this, but I think I'm warming up to it. But I didn't think I was cut out for this. I didn't think I had anything to say or anything to share, and I didn't think anyone would watch watch anything I put out, leave alone even subscribe to my channel. A huge shout out to all my subscribers. You guys mean a lot. Anyway, I never thought this was for me, and I had no clue of what this could turn out to be, or how this would unfold. And when I was making the first video, I remember telling my producers that I think I'm only going to do 5 episodes, right? 5 is the number of grace, so if I did 5 episodes, we are good, right? I've literally obeyed God, so 5 maximum. Look at us. We are on the 20th episode and still creating more for the next one. And looking back at that time, I was so insecure and so unsure of what I was doing, and I didn't think I'd be here, and I didn't think I'd do this long enough, and I didn't think it would have any impact. I was confident that this would just fizzle out. I thought it was just a phase that I was going through. I thought it was just one of those seasons that God takes us through, where he introduces you to a certain thing just to show you what you're capable of doing. And I didn't think he'd make it a thing, but here we are. And all through the 20 episodes that are on my channel, I have had to, first of all, grow as a person, and then grow as a believer who ministers to other people. And I've had to learn how to be bold, how to be courageous, how to be confident when I'm talking about anything that God asks me to talk about. And the greatest thing I've had to learn is to be reliant on him, and to rely on him for everything. And when I say everything, it's everything from the set inspiration to content to wardrobe to literally everything. I rely on God I rely on him for everything. And there are days I just wake up and I'm like, okay, Holy Spirit, we have a recording this particular day and I need your help. I don't know what to wear, and I don't know what to talk about, and I don't know how the set's gonna look like. And every time I go to him with such an attitude and with such an open mind, he starts filling it up. He's like, okay, so you will talk about this, and this is how you're going to structure it. This is the style inspiration. This is what you wear. And I know it sounds really cliche and it sounds spooky, but it's really not. The Holy Spirit is as tangible as the phone or the TV or the screen where you're watching me from. He is as real can get, and he's more than ready to be that involved in your life. And when I look back at the journey, I look back and I see how he has carried me through each and every episode that I've been here. And I look back and I have flashbacks of this journey, and I'm fully convinced that I was indeed created for such a time as this. And the first episode was me convincing myself to do this, and I kept telling myself, Kamande Esther, if you perish, you perish. And that was inspired by the story of Esther in the Bible. And I challenged myself to obey God and to be here and to do this. And I kept telling myself, you know what? If we're gonna perish, if we're gonna suffer, if we are going to get ridiculed, if we're going to get abandoned and rejected, then so be it. I was ready for anything that could come my way in a negative way and also in a positive way. But I never thought I'd get to hear and listen to testimonies from people who've watched the videos, people who have come to me on social media telling me how timely such videos and certain videos were, how inspired and intrigued they were. And just hearing that feedback reminded me of why I do what I do. And that is, I do what I do because of you. I do what I do to be that person who, remember when I was telling you that we all need someone who will remind us that God is still concerned about us? I do this to be that person for you. And my prayer every time I make these videos, the prayer for me and the prayer for the team or with the team is that we will have just one person who will watch these videos and get encouraged and get inspired to hold on to God. That's one. And then the other person that we're usually praying for is someone who probably knows about God but is yet to surrender their lives to Christ and live intentionally with Christ and just have the Holy Spirit fill them up. That's the second person we're usually praying for. That when they watch the videos, they'll sit back and wonder, who is this Jesus that this girl keeps talking about? You know, like I want to know this. Who is this Holy Spirit she's talking about? Who is this God she keeps rambling about? And that's the prayer of my life actually, that whenever people interact with this content, either here or on the blog, that they'll just look back at their lives and look back at the state of their hearts, and they will run back to God. Yeah, remember whenever you feel like God is distant, just know and remind yourself that it wasn't God that moved, it was you that moved. And we are the ones who walk away from God, we are the ones who jump ship. And God is so loving and so intentional about us that whether we walk away from him, he's still there. Whether you walk away from church or in whatever that you do, he's just there. always prompting you, always nudging your heart to come back to him. He's always sending you, ensuring that you collide with content like Kamande Esther's content, and he's just being intentional enough to remind you that he's there, that he's very intentional about you, that he's very concerned about you, that everything about you, from the hair on your head to your nails, your toenails, everything about you, your heart, your soul, your mind, your emotions, that you matter to him, and that you're so worthy of his love. You're so worthy of his presence in your life, that you mean a lot to him, that he loves you so much that he gave his only son to die for you. And as if that was not enough, he sent you his spirit to just come and dwell within you, to be your comforter and your helper, to be your best friend, like he is mine. And I wanted to share, or rather this episode, in as much as I've rambled and just said a whole lot, I just wanted to share that as my testimony, that it's possible to be a broken, bitter, discouraged, angry person, and it's very possible to move from that to be a peaceful, a happy, content person. And the difference between the two is God, and the difference between the two is just having a relationship with God. And I exist, and this space exists to show you that it's quite possible. Unlike me, you probably are not dealing with bitterness or anger. You're probably dealing with other things and facing different issues in your life, and you're probably thinking there is no one and there is no place where you could ever get help. And if you're in that space, then I exist because of you. This space exists because of you, to remind you that you're not without help, and that you're not too far gone to be restored back by God. You're not too far gone. You've not messed up enough to give God an excuse or a reason to just get rid of you. There is nothing you will ever do that will make God love you any less than he already loves you right now. And God loved you so much before you even knew he existed. He already loved you. He loved you in advance. He loved you, forgave you, and made plans for your life before you even existed. And then you existed, he still had those plans, and he still had love for you, and he still has that love for you. And there is nothing that you will ever do. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Think of the worst thing you have ever done. Think of the worst thing you will ever do, hoping that you won't do it. Think about the worst thing that anyone could ever do. And when you think about that, the worst thing that anyone could ever do, I want you to look at that thing, and then I want you to know that even that is not enough to make God change his mind about you. The thing about life, though, is that everything that you do has consequences, and you will for sure deal with the consequences of the choices that you made. But God will never abandon you. He will give you the grace to go through those consequences. Trust me. He will give you the grace to face people that you've offended. Like me, you've offended people, and you need to go back and just ask for forgiveness. And that's a consequence that no one wants to bear, but he will give you the grace to go through that. That's what God does. And there is nothing, if you forget anything that I've said in this video, I want you to remember, and I want you to note this down, that there is nothing that you will ever do that will ever make God change his mind about you. He will never change his mind about you. He will never love you any less than he loves you right now. He will not abandon you. He will never abandon you. And this is not Kamande saying it. This is what God says. And these are the promises that God says. And this space and this channel, it exists because God wants to be a constant reminder through me to you that he loves you and that he has an amazing purpose for you to fulfill here on earth. He has an agenda for the world, and there's a place for you to play. There's a part where you get to play in the agenda of God. And my prayer is that you will be intentional enough to find out what that part is and what that role is, and that you will live it, and that you will go into it and step into it with so much zeal and a lot of, with a lot of fight in you. And I want you to serve God in that assignment and in that purpose. I shared my testimony today with you to just tell you that anything is possible when you have God and with God. And the thing about the next season is that I pray and I hope that I will get willing and amazing people who will come on set, and people that will allow us to listen to their stories as well. And I want to welcome more people on set and on this channel, people that have gone through the most in life, and people who've gone through different things in life and they've conquered them, or they're working through them, and we'll hear from them and listen from them and learn from them and get encouraged from them. Because I know I can talk, I really can't talk, but I want you to hear from other people as well. I want you to see and listen to testimonies of other people as well. And that's something that you should really look forward to when it comes to the next season. And it gives me so much joy to end this season, and it gives me so much joy to just leave you in anticipation of the next season, right? And I will definitely be back, definitely going to be back, and definitely going to be churning out content that is going to bless your heart, content that is going to edify you, and content that is going to leave you inspired and running back to God. And God is really eager to have you back, and he's really eager to just, to just love on you. He really loves you. He really does. And I love you. I love having you here. And thank you for every view, for every viewer, for every subscriber, for every share. I know that's not proper English. My English teacher will flip. But thank you so much for the interaction. Thank you so much for engaging with me, for sharing these videos. Do you know your friends, if you're for all the subscribers and everyone who's a constant viewer, your friends usually write to me and they tell me, a friend of mine is a subscriber and they told me to watch this video. So I just want to say thank you. This wouldn't exist if you did not exist, because if God wanted to give me content just for me, then he wouldn't have really and literally pushed me to be here. And I love being here, and I love being of service to you, and I love just being of service to God. And as he edifies you, he's edifying me as well. I am a conduit, and I'm like a pipe, and as God pours out his refreshing spirit and the living water to your life, he doesn't leave me empty, and he doesn't leave me dry. He's always taking care of me first, as he's also taking care of you through this content. And I really pray that this has been as edifying to you as it has been to me, and I pray that you'll be here when I'm back. Please stay tuned to the blog. There'll be content also on my blog. The blog hasn't gone on break yet as well. But yeah. But until I can see you in my next wanted to say video, but yes, until I can see you in my next video, and until I can see you in the next season, I just wanted to say that Jesus loves you, and he's really waiting for you to say yes to him. And he really loves you, and he gave his life for you, just you. And you really matter to him. You really, really matter to God. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And if they come telling you that you don't matter, I think I can allow you to just, don't slap them, but maybe you can. But until I can see you in my next video, it's Kwaheri, and God bless you for being here. Bye.